Once upon a time, there was a porcupine named Mindy who had many friends. Better to be on her good side no matter what, due to the quills, and the known fact that Mindy and her sidekick Igor were bullies. Another thing to worry about concerning all young local fauna. You didn't want to cross either one of them, even though Igor was only a minor weasel with underdeveloped fangs. Grade school teacher Mrs. Bach loved Mindy and regarded her as teacher's pet, so there was no way around it. The place was run by bullies. Typically, Mindy and Igor would callously pass secrets back and forth, belittling Marcy B's grown-up straight skirt, or cruelly ridiculing the nodules around Martin the homeless parakeet's velvety beak. Last week at recess, Mindy pretended to invite Martin to her biennial neighborhood bash, an inclusiveness never before experienced by the withdrawn, reclusive Martin, whose dull eyes brightened by this unanticipated change of fate. But once he unfolded the glimmering card from the floral-trimmed envelope Igor passed to him, the card was blank, every line devoid of an address, date, or anything certifying a welcome to Mindy's most anticipated soiree of the season. This deliberate wrongdoing and heinous act was witnessed by everyone in the schoolyard as the saddest of parakeets registered the ill will against him and hung his soft blue head on the hopscotch patch marked with pastel chalk along the gunmetal pavement. One day, a kitten was born in the alley, just one kitten from a proud tuxedo mom, nestled within the gap between the alleyway rentals. Sam the wildebeest brought milk to the struggling mom and newborn every day, naming the kitten Collie, and many others pitched in to help. Only Mindy and Igor stayed away, which turned out for the best, as anywhere Mindy and Igor showed up, trouble followed. Collie the kitten grew into a stealthy gray cat, by which time Mindy and Igor were in the 8th grade. Collie knew the score on the infamous duo, due to neighborhood gossip of the unimaginable trauma experienced by their fledgling targets. One unspoken thing, however, about Collie were her magical powers, which surpassed anyone's, including the nighthawk living in the cemetery. The question was, what would Collie do with her powers? It seemed to everyone those two delinquents, Mindy and Igor in particular, deserved to pay retribution more than anyone. So much so, even they appeared to know it, living in abject fear of Collie. Some kids who'd suspected but never witnessed Collie's powers wondered what she'd done to deserve her foreboding reputation, as the few who knew exactly what Collie was capable of never spoke of it. Collie was kind and of a high caliber, but onlookers to her dealings with certain shady characters cowered from a distance as unspeakable acts of justice played out before their eyes, and they understood no one should ever mistake Collie's kindness for weakness. So Mindy and Igor slinked around like two pariahs waiting for payback, which pleased all juveniles on the block, especially when thinking of their still suffering friends. The two villains were afraid, and everyone wondered what Collie would do to them. So what would the all-powerful Collie do? One day, as Mindy and Igor slunk their way to the gym locker room, Collie bunched up high on a shower stall, crouching on the ledge near the blasting, steamy faucet. Bathers who spied Collie hiding there wanted to see what she'd do, but knew better than to hang around, so they hightailed it out of there, somehow knowing they'd never get over the sight of it, despite not caring in the least for Mindy nor Igor. Those two were about to get the surprise of their lives, and it was nobody's business. So this is what happened. Mindy and Igor weren't there for a shower, but rather to raid any lockers carelessly left open, which some remembered to safeguard, although Mindy and Igor mostly behaved themselves these days. But it seemed the nefarious two just couldn't help themselves, and arrived to steal anything from posters of rock stars to costume jewelry or an occasional gemstone, which was nothing compared to their bullying, but they'd toned that down quite a lot, out of fear of Collie. As they tugged on locker room doors, swiping toiletries, a dream catcher, and the Angels and Skulls charm bracelet secretly planted by Collie, Collie launched from the shower ledge, causing Mindy and Igor to run the other way. But this didn't work, and Collie intercepted them in the bleachers where she clawed them to shreds, piecing Mindy's quills into a pair of cleated sneakers and Igor's rough hide into a soccer ball, before kicking and bouncing them the distance to the shower, where she doused and scrubbed them off with a bottle of bleach, beneath the scorching water still running. No one knew this is what had become of Mindy and Igor, and when Martin the parakeet's razor-sharp talons unknowingly clawed their way into the gleaming custom-cleated sneakers gifted to him by his new best friend Collie, the still sentient Mindy became painfully employed to kick the ever-remorseful Igor mercilessly across the playing field. No one realized that day how retribution had been paid, nor why Mindy and Igor were dubiously nowhere to be found.